away a case of cheating.
Till day this bill was not implemented in Kolkata.
Builder lobbies is very, very powerful and they will influence the government.
We are at the mercy of the builder for the last 9 years.
They are paying the EMI also, and they are paying the rent also without any assurance that when this project is going to be completed.
Those images and sound bites represent thousands of buyers stuck in real estate projects across the country who were hoping that RERA will finally get them justice. But 4 days after RERA has become a rule across the country, most of these buyers are left disillusioned. In our 360-degree coverage of RERA today on Urban Reality, we put a lid on 3 key questions. Number 1, are states geared enough to examine thousands of builder projects which will come to them for registration? Number 2, what will buyer, builders and brokers do where there are no RERA rules? And finally, will ongoing projects escape RERA in most states? Joining me today are Ramesh Nair, CEO and Country Head India JLL. Also with me, Avikshit Moral, Partner Juris Corp. Pratik K Mehta, MD Unishire Group, joins us from Bangalore. Abhay Upadhyay, Convenor, Fight for RERA for a customer and a buyer perspective. And Rajeev Piramal, Executive Vice Chairman and MD Peninsula Land. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. Let's begin. Where are the regulatory authorities? We know that Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh do have regulators. We know some of the states have interim regulators. But I think my question to you, Pratik Mehta, is that as a developer, is there any worry at all that, just this whole 3-month period that you've been given to register projects, the capabilities at the regulatory level may not be efficient or sufficient enough?
Certainly, Manisha. In fact, if you look at, we are completely, in a state of disarray today as a developer, because, we have a 3-month window, thousands of projects, at least from the city, Bangalore, that I'm from. Hundreds and thousands of projects that need to be registered. So is the state geared up to? In fact, these final rules have not been notified as yet, and the government has assured us that within the next 15 days. But what I've come to understand is at least the ongoing projects can continue their pace of marketing and sales without any impediments till July 31st. But then, the necessary infrastructure to to enable all these ongoing projects to be a part of the RERA seems to be a very, very difficult and Herculean task, Manisha.
All right, Rajeev Piramal, Executive Vice Chairman and MD of Peninsula Land, also joins me. Rajeev, I must say that the seminar organized with FICCI, with the developers and regulators, was very useful. We finally really understood how RERA will work, at least in a state like Madhya Pradesh, or what Punjab government is really thinking of, or Haryana government. So you raised that question as well at that meeting, saying that, look, we are okay with how regulators are working because Maharashtra already has a working regulator and a website. But isn't there concern in terms of the manpower per se? Just 20 people manning that body, and there must be at least 25,000-30,000 projects in Mumbai, MMR, Greater Mumbai region alone at this moment.
Yes, no, I think that is a bit of a concern, but I would say that speaking for we have been obviously interacting with the Maharashtra authorities, the RERA body over there. Mr. Gautam Chatterjee, who is the head of RERA over there, has been interacting with on a lot of different forums prior to the rolling out of the Act or the Act going live. In fact, the reason he was unable to attend the meeting today is because he is himself overseeing the registration process over there. So I think that Maharashtra seems to be quite ready. I would say that there have been assurances given to all developers from the regulatory authority that they will act very, very quickly in terms of giving registration. A couple of projects, from what I understand, have already been registered in Maharashtra. So I think that the online portal is already up and running. So I think that Maharashtra seems to be reasonably RERA ready. Of course, there is a huge volume of projects that will come into the They'll come for registration in the next few months. We'll have to just wait and see. But I would say that as of right now, the regulator seems to be in the right position, and they seem to have, they're preparing for this eventuality. But we'll have to see actually what happens over the next few months once the registration actually starts.
All right, I'm glad to hear that at least two states, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, have been actually very proactive in terms of setting up a regulator and opening a website where you can apply for registration. I'm going to come to you, Ramesh Nair. Take a industry-wide perspective, country-wide perspective. Here you have Karnataka and Haryana, which are, of course, some of the key real estate markets. You've got Bangalore and Gurgaon covered in that. Do not even have rules notified. And the window is only 3 months, up to July 31st. You can still work without having a RERA registration, sell your projects, ongoing projects, but post that, work will come to a standstill. So is that a worry that you carry as an industry spokesperson as well?
Yeah, Manisha, a very good question. The data which my team gives me, out of the 29 states, we have 13 states today who have regulations in place. I
think 14 now, Ramesh.
14.
Chhattisgarh got added.
Okay.
We keep saying 13, but Chhattisgarh got added. So yeah, 14 now.
3 of them have regulators, and only one actually has a efficiently working online portal. I think it just shows that there's not much of central state coordination happening as of this, but let's give it some more weeks to see if there is push from the center to make things happen. There is a lot of confusion right now, but hopefully in the next 2-3 weeks the government will fix it.
All right. Avikshit Moral, my question to you is, does it seem inevitable that this July 31st deadline will have to be extended, especially by states which do not seem to be ready with final rules for sure, and also states which haven't even bothered with any kind of rules like West Bengal and Goa?
Actually, before answering your question, I just wanted to clarify one more point. The 14 states that we talk of, actually out of them 5 or 6 of them are UTs. So technically it's actually 8 or 9 states who've come up with the rules.
Absolutely.
Yes, as you asked, it seems inevitable that we will get an extension, because you cannot expect people to suffer for something wrong that they've not done. That's the first point. But the worry comes from the fact that we wanted, actually everyone wanted, that this act be rolled out together and there be uniformity in the states. Now the way things are happening, our worry comes from the fact that once this authority starts working, you may have states where there are orders being passed and directions being given to developers or allottees. And then there are other states who have nothing, no infrastructure ready. So you may find a gap between states, you may find a gap between the kind of orders that are passed. So that is something, a kind of situation that we dread, and we didn't want it to happen. But the way things are going, it seems that is what will happen actually.
Absolutely. Abhay Upadhyay, you're sitting in a city which has no rules. There are brokers talking to you and saying, we can't do our business anymore. There is absolutely no RERA rule, draft or otherwise. I mean, from a consumer perspective, yes, definitely it's not a good idea, but don't wear that hat for now. Wear the hat for the industry as a whole. It literally comes to a grinding halt in a state like West Bengal. What happens?
Well, Manisha, as you rightly said, we are all looking with very disappointment the situation which is has cropped up because of non-notification of rules and non-appointment of regulator. But the point is that we are only saying that only 3 months' time. I fully disagree with the panel here. As we knew on last 10th of March last year that act has been passed by Rajya Sabha, and 15th March last year when Lok Sabha, 26th March when presidential assent was given to the act. So we all knew that the act is now in place and we have to perform our legal obligation as mentioned in the act. So what stopped the states from doing whatever was mandated in the act? So, this is what is very frightening as a consumer and to industry as a whole, that this is only the beginning, and this is what way things are being implemented. Then going ahead, will the consumer for whom this act has been brought will get final justice? Because there is deliberately something which is stopping the act from the states from notifying their rules and appointing authorities. And what are those forces? Why are they stopping this? And one year time is no less time, 1 year plus 3 months. So altogether you see 12 plus 3, 15 months was given to the states to perform their duties. They have not done it. So, this is where we are looking at that this is being deliberately done to somehow ensure that the act fails and the consumers do not get justice.
Abhay, I think we should also, at some level, yes, I don't know about the deliberate part of it, but I think most states, barring West Bengal, where we have no information, states like Karnataka and Haryana, where the government is working on draft rules and has opened it up for getting public opinion, I think they're walking a very, very thin line. And it's all on ongoing projects. But having said that, I think the big concern is also that they do not choke the industry. And I'm going to go back to my Bangalore guest. What do you think, Pratik Mehta? Is there any worry that by the fact that you don't have any rules as of now, plus the fact that you might have to still meet the July 31st deadline, is there worry that the industry would probably come to a halt and that RERA will not be able to probably walk a tightrope between consumer interest and industry?
See, Manisha, in fact, there is obviously a lot of worry with developers here because obviously things are at status quo now. There is no clarity of when the final rules will be notified. There are obviously, RERA in its entire context is, meant to ensure that there is more transparency. There is, a level play field for at least good developers to perform and, flourish in this current market. But, developers like us, obviously, there will be projects that will get delayed because of this uncertainty of timelines. 3 months time frame, ongoing projects to be registered. Is there a clarity beyond which, do we get an extension in case the infrastructure is not in place? There are big questions. What do we do today? Do we continue marketing? Do we continue sales of our projects? What about construction? And who's going to factor in the delays attributed to all of these, activities, Manisha? So yes, there is a lot of concern.
I think where there are no final draft rules of RERA, these are absolutely valid concerns that the developers have. Rajeev Piramal, come in here. The question that I have for you is simply one that we met the Madhya Pradesh regulator today. We heard the lady from Punjab, the civil servant and IAS officer who's looking after this portfolio right now, housing, and both of them said, look, our idea is not to choke the industry, and we will look at the fact that if the delays are because of authorities and not because out of control of the developers will not be penalized for that. Did you get some comfort level that regulators will actually work with the industry and consumer together?
No, I think definitely. I think that you can look at it from both perspectives, right? There's transparency that is expected of developers when it comes to how we deal with our buyers and consumers. And it's also transparent. The RERA also, in my opinion, provides a platform for transparency on the government end. In the first case, in any case, as far as RERA is concerned, you need all your, for new projects, of course, you need all your approvals before you can launch the projects. But for ongoing projects where if you are facing, once you register and you give a timeline for completion, this is a new forum for developers which never existed before, where they can actually bring to the notice of an authority a delay that is happening on account of something, an approval that is stuck somewhere in some government body. So in fact, as far as our conversations have been concerned with the relevant authorities in Maharashtra, they have taken cognizance of this as well, and they also believe that while they do not have any legal power per se over the authorities, they will use their good office and use this forum as well to bring this out into the public domain as well. So the more information that's out of the public domain, whether it is on the consumer front and as well as on the approvals front, I think that is only good for the industry. So I think that the authorities are taking the right measures, at least in these states. Yes, there are some states where they're lagging behind, but it's a complex regulation, it's a complex industry, and maybe in some places taking longer than others. But I think that thankfully, from our perspective, Maharashtra seems to have adopted these rules, and things seem to be moving. It's very early days, of course. We'll know in a few months how it all turns out, but at least the foundation is there for it to be a successful implementation.
All right, I must give it to both Bihar and Odisha, the only two states which have implemented undiluted rules. And even though Maharashtra rules don't meet all the consumer protection criteria as of now, at the face of it, at least Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh have a regulator and a website to start the work. Now, one important point is that the Act does not allow penalties to be laid on past delays, because the regulator said today, who I heard, that it cannot be made a retrospective act at all. Now, what happens to those projects and the buyers we saw at the beginning of the show who were hoping that RERA will bring them the relief? That's right after the break. Stay with us.